Pérégrinations was inspired by a recent artist residency in the Breton village of Léhon in northwestern France. Australian artist Damon Kowarsky presents Pérégrinations. Working from a studio in the 12th century abbey, Damon painted every day for 2 months, capturing with his watercolour and pencil the lush countryside, the hills rising up from the river, the midsummer light, and all in the ever-changing hue of green. Since returning to Australia, Damon is concentrating on a suite of etchings inspired by his memories of Brittany. The subtle and intricate architecture, the open skies and luxurious green of Léhon permeate each work will be presented part of this exhibition. David, I will talk about him a bit later because I recorded the opening speech for last night and a small interview with Damon himself, so I'll just play those now for you.
Tonight, the opening of Pérégrinations by local artist Damon Kowarsky. Before I tell you a little bit about Damon, sorry the microphone is close enough. I just would like to start by quickly telling you a little bit about us and what we do and who we are at the Alliance Française. So the Alliance Française Melbourne is an Australian not-for-profit association promoting the French language and culture in Victoria. We provide the means by which people can learn the French language and become engaged in the many different aspects of the French culture. We were founded in 1890, so we will be celebrating our 130 years anniversary in 2020. So look out for our activities, will be a big year for us next year. Now, some of you may have heard about us back in your school days through the French language and poetry competition, the concours Breton. That competition was launched 125 years ago, and it attracts every year over 15,000 candidates. And we meet a lot of people who, when we talk, we say we're from the Alliance Française, they say, oh yes, I remember, back in my school days, I did this poem in French, and they actually remember the poem and start reciting it to us. So it's an amazing, the Breton competition is an amazing vehicle to promote the French language for us in Melbourne. Now, all our courses and activities are presented on our website, so I invite you to go online, but also feel free to come and chat to me tonight if you have any questions. But now, let's return to our guest artist, Damon Kowarsky. So Damon studied printmaking at the Victorian College of the Arts and Glasgow School of Arts. Since graduating, he has traveled extensively, always seeking a source of inspiration from architecture and the colours of the earth and sky. Damon has worked also as a scientific, courtroom and archaeological illustrator, as well as a teacher of drawing and printmaking. And I was told also tonight that I was a light model as well for a few years back. So. He is a recipient of various awards and exhibits regularly in Australia and abroad, including solo exhibitions in Melbourne, Hong Kong, New York, Philadelphia, Wellington, Cairo, Damascus, Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi. Wow. Now, Damon's work tonight is inspired by his artist residency in the village of Léhon in northwestern France in the region of Brittany. He did this residency back in 2016. I'm very excited because this is where I come from in France, so it's our region as well. Working from a studio in a 12th century abbey, Damon painted every day for 2 months. On his return to Australia, Damon concentrated on a suite of etchings inspired by his memories of Brittany, resulting in his visually beautiful and technically intricate exhibition, Pérégrinations. Most of the works exhibited tonight represent landscapes and villages from Brittany. However, in a garden space next door, You will also find two works that are inspired by the city of Léhon. One of them actually being the big drawing on the wall next door. Now, all the etchings presented tonight are available in multiple editions. So, if you're interested in purchasing anything tonight, just either come and see me or go and see Anna at reception. I will now give the floor to Damon, who can tell us more about his artist residency, the work exhibited tonight, and also maybe about his current projects.
Bonsoir, bienvenue à l'Alliance Française. En 1996, j'ai appris à l'Alliance Française de Melbourne en 14 rue Road. But sadly, that's where my French ends. And j'ai appris is the only past tense I can do. But it was helpful when we were in France for 2 months just to have a small amount of language, and that allowed us to say bonjour and au revoir and order food and things like that. So it was good to have the connection from the Alliance, even though I never learned any poetry. What a shame.
Not too late.
Not too late. So the work here was... Do I even need this? No. The work here was based on our time in the town of Léhon, which is in the Côte d'Amour section of Brittany. A father and son painting team, the Klotzes, Alfred and Trafford Klotz, who were mid-20th century American painters. They painted mostly society ladies from Boston and Baltimore. And they went to France every summer to paint. And when the father died and the son died, the son's widow endowed a foundation to allow current artists to spend time in Brittany, in the part of the world that the father and son had loved and painted so much. And my partner Hyunju Kim and I were very fortunate to receive a scholarship from this foundation in 2016, and we spent 2 wonderful midsummer months in Brittany, painting and drawing. It's light from 5 o'clock in the morning until nearly midnight. The skies are blue, everything is green. It was just a stunning, very beautiful place to be, and came back to Australia and made work that continued those ideas. And thank you so much for coming tonight.
Well, folks, after the sponsorship notices, I'll give an interview with... I had an interview with Damon myself, so I'll play that after the sponsorship notices. In the meantime, listen in. All right, now for the interview with Damon Kowarsky.
Well, I studied art at university, so I graduated 20 years ago, so I've been doing this quite a while. And the French work that you see here today came out of spending 2 months in France in 2016 and drawing and painting every day, and then coming back and making the work.
Oh, fantastic. And what have you been doing more since you came back? Or?
Yeah, well, this work I really only finished last week with the large drawing, and then the next body of work will be about other travels. I was in Serbia, Cambodia, Korea, so other parts of the world that I'm starting to explore.
How do you go on with only English?
Well, English is the universal language, and je parle un petit peu français, so...
Moi aussi. Je parle
un petit peu.
Mon grammaire est terrible.
Yeah, my pronunciation is apparently merde.
I found North France was very friendly, but South France...
Well, we were in Brittany, and it was a small town, and everyone was lovely.
So that was fantastic. So how do you like what's your favourite, was it etchings or painting?
Yeah, the etchings. In here, I have a few favourites. I mean, yeah.
Can you explain for the listeners the etching? What do you do for etching?
So you have a piece of copper, and you basically scratch the surface, and wherever you scratch, you can either scratch physically or use chemicals, acid, to make the scratches, and wherever you scratch holds the ink, and then the ink transfers onto paper.
Do you have to do different colours for different...
If you want different colours, like the work in this exhibition, so I have 2 pieces of copper. So in the same way as a newspaper was always printed with 4 colours that combined, I used 2 colours that combine.
Fantastic. And how did you get onto the Alliance Française?
Well, because I had done the residency in France and I was producing a body of work related to France, and I knew that the Alliance had a gallery space here, so I approached them and said, I have some work, would you be interested? And they said, oui.
Yes, I did see originally the Sofitel.
Yeah, so the exhibition was at the Sofitel. Some of the same work, but also this show has expanded it. That was in, I think, July last year.
Nice to have met you.
Thank you for coming along, Peter.
Well, that was the interview with Damon, a very nice young man, Kowarsky. And it's on the Alliance Française de Melbourne at 51 Grey Street, St Kilda. Opened last night and it's running till the 22nd of November. And if you're into the art and etchings and things, I'd recommend going along to see it. It's a wonderful exhibition. Bit of parking in the building if you can get into it. Otherwise, just park on the street roundabout in Grey Street there. But it's really Pérégrinations, the exhibition by Damon Kowarsky, a very nice young gentleman, and a very wonderful evening we had last night. Myself and my wife met, as I say, I interviewed Damon there, and it's really worth going to have a look at. So pop down and have a look.